could tell from here. Okay. All right. Yep. Yeah, I think maybe that I think that that's important for us to know because we have lost that history, like how everything got started, you know. And if we go back and find it, like saying Kofa, you know what I mean? Maybe we could put it all in the perspective that it needs to be in for today's world. You was definitely a great part of this and giving us the things that we cherish today. You know, so it's an honor just sitting here talking to you about these things that you remember and how they got started and things like that. And we don't have that in the community. We have lost focus to stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know precisely how times have changed a lot, you know, and we were talking about how some of these communities don't look like they will come back. Like we were talking about places like Birdie's back in the day, or Center Avenue, the way it looks back in the day and compared to how it looks now with the vacant spaces. Of course, there's rebuilding going on, stuff that like people like Marimba, whom you know very well, are doing, and others. And I referenced my own town, Braddock, how it will never be what it used to be. There's just no way. And how, like for example, in 1968, when the BAS was, how we, in the Black Studies program, how we informed our academic program such that it was an academic community program. We allowed students, high school students, for example, all over the city, particularly from like Northside, Homewood, Hill District, Arlington Heights, you know, that little forgotten section of Pittsburgh. We allowed students into our classes, you know, without paying tuition. Our classes, you know, we had students from all those communities on campus. You would think they were students at Pitt.
Wow.
They were just like all over the place. They were all in the BAS office. They were all in the Student Community Center. They were all in our classes. They were like preparing themselves as just like as if they were students.
Students and that was to make sure that the community get that education.
Exactly. Exactly. The student community centers, we had those already.
Wow.
We used to, the Harambe bookstore, we like fronted them the money. We had our students in our classes. We had them buy their books through the Harambe bookstore.
To make sure that bookstore was supported.
To make sure they was, yeah, to make sure they were supported. Like our students, our classes, they didn't get their books through the Pitt bookstore. They got their books through the Harambe bookstore.
The Harambe bookstore.
Which means they had to go to Homewood.
They had to go to home and find out anywhere.
They had to find out what's going on in the community.
And that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I wish that would be back like that again because I do think it helped. But after it was forgotten, I think it hurt the community so bad. It took our teachers away.
Oh yeah, it's like there's like a major plan going on to like undermine education across the country. You know, I mean that's just plain as day.
That's just what it was.
It's just plain as that's what it is right now.
Absolutely. So, but you spend a lot of time over here in this Hill District, talking to people, being a part of programs, and putting programs in place. What do you remember best about the Hill that you like?
What I remember best about the Hill, I mean, sometimes you see, I've seen like photos. You see, it's a sense of community, people coming together, the metropolitan coming together of black people. I mean, it's always been like a micro Harlem kind of place. Small dose of Harlem, you know, a small community where it had its connectivity, you know, that was kind of like had its economic security, had you know, a couple of like almost community banks, you know, that had community entertainment. They had, you know, people that gravitated toward each other,
Right on here.
you know, and was highly populated center. So people were connected to each other. So yeah, that's what I enjoy most about the Hill District.
And would you say, okay, when it comes to the Crawford Grill, was it more of an upscale? You had to have money to get in, and, or
It was a little, it was a little, it was a little kind of uppity, but not that much. Not that much.
so regular folks could be seen in there because.
People would dress up maybe a little bit more, but not regular folks would be in there.
Do you remember the Crawford Grill when it was on the lower hill?
Not, that's the third place. They had Crawford Grill 1 and Crawford Grill 2.
Right.
So yeah, I don't remember that much. I don't think I went to Crawford Grill
One.
Lower Hill.
So you was at the Crawford Grill right here?
Yeah.
This is right in this
Yeah.
space. Do you remember what this building we're sitting in was?
I don't.
Somebody said it was a meat market.
I don't have that kind of
Memory.
no.
Okay. And some people said numbers was ran upstairs.
Now I wouldn't remember that because I ain't lived here.
Okay, I wasn't a native of the hill to live there to see that. But I wanted to. Did you do history? Did you do history on the hill? You.
No, me? No,
Mhm.
no, I was a writer.
You was
I was a
writer.
creative writer when I was at the University of Pittsburgh, and then I was a faculty member. And so then when I was a faculty member, I actually was part of creating the discipline of Black Studies.
Oh, okay.
So I started researching how do you develop the idea of Black Studies.
And what it looks like
Yeah, what it
courses
looks
you
like to
do.
create the discipline of Black Studies.
Oh, okay. Do you still got that paper?
Yeah, I mean, we wrote a book called Black Paper for Black Studies, and then I taught courses like Black Consciousness that later I turned over to Rob Penny, but I think he taught it completely differently than I did.
Okay. Okay, so you were like the first one in the seat that Rob Penny sat in at the university.
First one in the seat of Black Consciousness, yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was you, the groundwork was done by you, of how it should be taught. And is it still being taught in the school? I mean, in the
I
university?
think somebody's teaching it, I don't know what they're teaching.
Okay, okay. That's interesting. Like, I'm just so happy that, that Marima ran into you because people were talking about you.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, Curtis Porter, he's the one who got the money for the first Harambe. He was a part of the Black Horizon Theater at the time. I thought you were one of the poets, but you wasn't. You were a writer.
Right.
And a professor.
Later, became a professor, yeah.
Uh-huh. And taught at Pitt. So you was the opening door for Pitt. You were the one
I opened some doors, yeah, I think.
before Black studies, like Rob, to go in there without the degree.
Yes.
You were the one. You set the stage for all of that to be happening. I think that's very important that people know that you knew you was at the beginning of this with them, and really ushered and helped the door. I hear that you helped a lot with all kinds of stuff, whether it was funding, finding the money, you know what I mean, for it. And how did you do that? Did the university, like for the Harambe, did they?
Well, it is a very simple story. We formed, first of all, we formed a couple of organizations on the heels of a visit to the campus by Stokely Carmichael, which was the transformation from Negro consciousness to Black consciousness.
Okay.
He kind of like told us to organize. Black students must organize around Black power.
This was during the time that Martin Luther King was assassinated.
It was before Martin Luther King.
It was before, okay. But so where did the concept come from, Black consciousness?
It initiated with Stokely Carmichael calling for Black power.
Okay, so the Black Power movement, the Black Panthers.
Before I don't want to be historically inaccurate, but I'm pretty sure it was before the Black Panthers, or around the same time.
That they were forming?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Black Power
That
came
makes
before
sense.
Black Panthers.
That makes sense. And how did the community embrace that?
Embrace,
Like
how did the
Black
community embrace
consciousness.
black consciousness? I think that the Black Action Society was like really in Pittsburgh. I think that was the seat of a lot of black consciousness in the city of Pittsburgh. There were some other people, because of course it became widespread in the country.
Right.
After Stokely said Black Power in Mississippi someplace, and then he went around the country preaching Black Power. He was on a lot of campuses and a lot of different places, and a book and TV and everywhere, until they shut TV down. They didn't let black people come on TV.
They was
talk
like,
about
that's
Black
it.
Power anymore. They saw what was happening, and they stopped, letting black people come on TV talk about Black Power. And because black people came on TV, they actually, some people, and this is kind of fuzzy, some people actually, I think some people actually interrupted like one of those like Tonight shows.
Oh, wow.
They just like burst on the stage and like shut it down, like a national TV show.
The Black Power movement.
They were serious.
They wasn't no joke. They wasn't.
Serious. And so then they shut them out. First they were broadcasting everything Stokely said, and then like cut him off.
They stopped it. It was making too many people grow, maybe.
Exactly. And but the Black Action Society was formed on the heels of the African American Cultural Society. My members, mother and father, were central members of both of those groups.
Oh, okay.
Her mother and father were central members of both of those groups, as was Saladin, and myself, and let's see, who other people you might know.
I know Solomon very well.
Well, everybody knows something. He's trying to make himself the father of everything in Pittsburgh.
Hey, he might have succeeded in that.
He might have. I think he's got the biggest PR program in the world.
I know some people are so quiet about it that we don't get a chance to see. You know what I mean? I think you're not talked about enough. And
well, Silas was pivotal, but he ain't the only person that ever did anything.
Absolutely not. No, I think that your story is wonderful.
See, because the thing that I think makes a difference, the reason what I was trying to get to is there were these organizations post Stokely. Stokely came, he said Black Power, organized. We organized the African American Cultural Society. It was intellectually and culturally perfect. It was good, but it didn't have any money, so therefore it couldn't survive. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't have any real capacity. It had like brilliant people,
But no money.
Margaret and Jay, Sala, and a whole bunch of other people whose names you probably don't recognize, but Natalie and Kramer Bazell, Barbara and Letty Hayden, Jack and Jerry Daniel, who else? Frank Hightower,
Oh, wow.
August Wilson, Rob Penny, all these brilliant people were in this organization, and some other people, Gail Austin.
Oh, I know her. She was a part of the sit-in.
Yeah. And a ton of students like Gail, like Larry Davis. He's from the Hill District.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Larry Davis. He ran a school up here.
Yes.
Just a ton of people. A lot of them from the Hill District.
A lot of them from the Hill.
A lot of them from the Hill District. And so that organization lasted almost a year. It was powerful. It really wrote the first set of demands that were the demands that the Black Action Society rewrote when it took over the computer center after Martin Luther King's death.
Oh, okay.
Those were the demands were written actually by the African American Cultural Society. But the African American Cultural Society, like I said, dwindled down because it was trying to depend on student dues
And it didn't work.
Because students ain't got no money.
So it's not
They
gonna
can't
work.
pay tuition. But so the first thing the Black Action Society demanded was a budget from the university and communications equipment and an office. And so when the university gave the Black Action Society that was its crucial mistake. They gave that up right quick. Gave us a budget, gave us an office, gave us telephones, gave us in those days a mimeograph machine. And they thought, okay, these niggas gonna be happy. But that just made us like stronger. We were able to communicate with people across the country and find out what everybody else was doing and try to implement that. But that also enabled us to connect with other people and get stuff started. But it didn't get up our initial demands, the broader demands, one of which was the Black Studies program. So when we took over the computer center and then they conceived the Black Studies program, that was even a bigger part of resources. Yeah, we were going to run the program, like hire faculty and teach and so on and so forth. But that was even a larger set of resources. Mm-hmm. So now we could bring in speakers and we could hire faculty, we could teach, and we could establish a Harambe bookstore, we could do the Harambe Arts Festival, we could do all kinds of things that would help bring the broader community into this idea of Black power.
Why did you pick the site for Homewood for the Harambe?
Because some people had the idea, the guys from the Harambe bookstore, they had this idea of doing an arts festival.
Right there.
They were very creative guys, and they had the idea of doing an arts festival, which coincided with some thinking that we were having also. So we said, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do it.
That's a good idea. I gotta turn this off. I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom for a minute.